This is One-on-One.
We are pleased to welcome Shelby Klein, President and Chief Executive Officer of a terrific organization I know very well. It is called the Adler Aphasia Center. Good to see you, Shelby.
Likewise, Steve. Thanks for having me.
Tell folks what the Adler Aphasia Center is.
Sure. The Adler Aphasia Center is a nonprofit dedicated to both helping people and their families if they have aphasia, as well as raising awareness as to what aphasia is.
Named after Mike and Elaine Adler, our great friends. For those of you who've been watching us for years, you know that Elaine, who just celebrated her 90th birthday, Mike, her husband, who was stricken with aphasia some years back, a very successful business entrepreneur. Mike, we've lost Mike, but the spirit of Mike and Elaine continues to go on. For those who don't know what aphasia is, tell them.
Sure. Aphasia is a communication disorder that typically follows some type of brain trauma. Stroke is the most common reason why it occurs, but it could be an accident that causes brain injury, or even a tumor or something else. And what it does is the part of your brain that impacts your communication skills, your speech, your reading, your writing, it gets damaged. And people will wake up the next day after that brain injury. They might not be able to speak. They may not be able to read or write or any combination of them. And that becomes very debilitating to them in their recovery. Because it impacts their esteem and their sense of purpose.
Sure.
So we address that with the services
Let's
that
break
we
it down a
provide.
little bit. I happen to have been honored to be able to host once again the Adler Aphasia Center Gala. People come together, people who are dealing with aphasia, family members, caregivers, and others who support the effort. But let's be really clear. At the Adler Aphasia Center, give us one example of a service that really makes a difference for the person dealing with aphasia, as well as everyone who's dealing with it, including family. Go ahead.
Sure. We have two full-service centers, one in Maywood and one in West Orange. And during the day, people with aphasia and their family members come, and we offer a variety of groups for them. So as an example, we have an advocacy group. And in that group, the people with aphasia will practice their communication skills, whether that's speaking with each other in a comfortable environment or using technology to assist them to speak. And in that group, as advocates, is they're practicing speaking to groups of people and educating them about aphasia. Typically, healthcare professionals or students in going to school to become healthcare professionals. While they're in that group, their caregiver might be in a caregiver support group.
What goes on there?
The caregivers really bind
We're
together.
looking at some of them right now.
And they have an opportunity to be in an environment where they feel safe and they can share experiences and they can share resources and different strategies they as a caregiver can implement in their lives, whether it's something concrete to help their family member or something for them for self-care as well.
You know, interesting. For those of us who have had family members who deal with communication challenges for a variety of reasons, but let's stay on the aphasia issue. What is it like for the patient?
We refer to them as members.
That's right. What is it like for the member? And by the way, if you're not a member, we'll put up the information about the Adler Aphasia Center. We wish there were more, but it's a question of resources, if you will. What is it like for the member/family? How challenging?
It's challenging in a lot of ways because for many of them, it's you were on a path in life and all of a sudden it became disrupted one day.
That's Mike Adler. He was a very successful business person. One day he's stricken with aphasia. His ability to communicate, a key to his success, is not there.
Correct. So they might have lost their whole self-identity because they can't go back to work the next day. You know, for the 30-year-old who was a teacher, she can't get back to that classroom and teach those kids how to read anymore, let alone read herself.
Do other people understand what has happened? Because the word aphasia, we're still looking to get it out there. People understand, like, oh, she had a stroke, he had a stroke. It's the other part of it after.
Most people are not aware. Most people don't know what the word aphasia even is, unfortunately. That's why it's part of our mission to raise awareness. And for many people, they're coping with so many after effects that, you know, they've almost become isolated because they almost don't know what to do. They go to rehabilitation, that ends. If they're fortunate, they find us, and we become their new network of family and friends.
By the way, the Adler Aphasia Center is, in fact, a model across this country for how to deal with these issues. Real quick on this one. There was an aphasia task force in the state of New Jersey that was spearheaded by Senator Loretta Weinberg, whose sister dealt with aphasia, and some other legislators as well who are actively involved. What is that task force and why does it matter?
Sure. Loretta Weinberg has been our champion. The task force was signed into law this past spring, and hopefully it gets off the ground by January.
What's it supposed to do?
The task force is going to look at raising awareness and providing services in the community. So like we said, there's probably at least 70,000 people in New Jersey who have aphasia.
70,000.
Correct. Those are very conservative estimates. We're seeing about 150 of them a year. So out there's 70,000 additional people that could benefit from our service and benefit from awareness being raised in the community so that people know, that person, they might not be able to speak, and it's not their intellect that's
not
impacted. It's just their communication. So you can't think of that person as having less intellect in any way, and that impacts how people interact with you. And to know that, it's still Steve. He might not be able to speak the same way, but that's still Steve, and we can still have a conversation, but now Steve has learned through us some tools to make that conversation flow easier for him and for you.
Last question. You're a relatively new head of the organization. Number one thing you want to accomplish over the next couple of years would be?
Definitely raising awareness. For us, the services we have them spread across the state now. So over time, they'll grow, and hopefully they'll grow into full-service centers as they become more and more popular. But raising awareness is key for us right now.
Shelby, we appreciate everything you do on behalf of all the families and the members who are dealing with it, and just can't imagine what it would be like if your organization were not in place. Thank you to Elaine, the team, and also Mike, who I'm sure is up there looking down and appreciating the work every day.
Thank you, Steve.
Stay with us, one-on-one. We'll be right back. Thank you, Shelby.
Thank you.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the CAUCUS Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by the Russell Berry Foundation, Montclair State University, New Jersey Resources, MD Advantage Insurance Company of New Jersey, New Jersey Sharing Network, the law firm of Gibbons, P.C., and by New Jersey State Nurses Association and the Institute for Nursing. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area. One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been produced in partnership with TriStar Studios.